So video games are one of my favorite pastimes. And I know to some people that might sound kind of sad, but to me it really isn't. Because when you're talking about other hobbies like biking, hiking, going out on a Friday night, things like that, when you're trying to figure it out, it can be time consuming and it can take a lot of effort. Not always, but sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I want to go to a movie with my friends, now I'm looking at, okay, when do you not work? When do you not work? Okay, maybe we can do it Friday. Nope, she works Friday. And then we finally get there and up it snowed. We can't go anywhere. Things like that. And with video games, I can just sit down and play. I don't need to coordinate with other people. I don't need to figure things out. Granted, I might be the only one on, but I don't have to coordinate with other people. And if I hit on and there is no one on, then I can just play the game myself, and it's an enjoyable time. And when it comes down to with video games, if I'm playing by myself, then I'm playing for that competitive aspect. I'm playing to entertain myself with competition. And so a lot of people would view video games as pointless because, you're sitting down in front of a screen and you're playing this game until you're not, and then you get up and you go about your day. Well, what did you achieve there? But the issue with this argument that I have is how come you play sports? You play a sport so that you can improve your skill level at said sport. You can become better at said sport. You can see your active improvement, which is the reward, is you become better at the sport. And there's other rewards along the way. If you show exemplary ac actions doing that sport, then you can get awards. And other than that, you're doing it for your own enjoyment from that competitive aspect and improving, or you're doing it for other people's enjoyment so they can watch you, but usually a little less so. And so when looked at it that way, video games are no more pointless than any sport or a lot of other hobbies as well. You're doing it simply for your own enjoyment. And I think that's something that's overlooked quite a lot. For example, I play music. I play a wide variety of instruments, and what am I doing with that? Am I making that into a career? No. Do I have any plan to? No. But I've been improving and improving on being able to play the guitar and the ukulele, and I'm currently learning the banjo. For what reason other than to entertain myself and maybe entertain other people a little bit? There is no reason. That's exactly why I'm doing it. A lot of hobbies could be just as pointless as playing a game. And interestingly enough, a hobby that many of us enjoy, including me, is probably even more pointless than most hobbies, including video games, is watching TV. What are you improving there? Nothing. You're simply digesting. I guess you can watch some public programming that'll teach you how to count, but other than that, it's yeah, it's pretty much entirely pointless unless you want to like talk to your friends about the show, which is a valid point. But that brings me to my next point is I think the most overlooked thing about video games is just like in a sport. If you're playing on a football team, because I've played on a football team, one of the most fun things about playing on a football team is making that bond with your teammates. You're all improving together, and you can screw around and make friends and enjoy yourself, and it's a beautiful thing. It's something that humans are meant to experience, is going through challenges with other people forms a very strong bond, and you connect to those people. There are people on my football team I didn't even really consider my friend before then. And I don't even think we talked all that much when they were on the team. But I would be able to meet up with them and we would just be able to talk. We'd be able to, hey, remember that one time when Trace Huff accidentally kicked the apple out of Coach Cloud's hand? And they would know exactly what I'm talking about, and we'd have a great laugh. There's just a connection there that you build by going through a challenge with another person. And interestingly enough, video games don't get a lot of credit for this often, I don't see. But the most important thing to me about games, in my opinion, is the fact that I can play them with other people. One of my best friends, he moved away to Texas. I'm in Idaho. When what? It was like sophomore year. And we weren't able to talk for the longest time because I actually didn't have a PC back then. And we were able to start playing games together when I got my PC back in September, now like 6 months ago. And he's one of my best friends. We play together probably at least twice a week. And if we find enough time, we'll just play for days on end together because we just enjoy each other's company. And that's a relationship that I'm able to maintain and grow with somebody. And we have memories formed with each other when we haven't even seen each other in years. And that's something that's amazing, and that's something I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. That's something, it's a closer connection than you would have been able to manage on the phone, for one. And for two, the likelihood that you would be able to continue calling that person, once a week to catch up, whatever, and still be involved enough in their life and in their day-to-day to be that close of a friend with them is pretty low. So being able to spend your time doing what they love and what you love together, that's the most important thing to me. Because when I hop on and I can see, okay, well, a couple of my best friends from my old high school are on, and I can invite them and we can all play together, that's something that's one of my favorite things to do on this earth. Honestly, is we're talking about from a hobby perspective, if I'm able to invite 4 or 5 of my old high school buddies and we can just come together and play a game together for hours. I have a video up on this channel. You can go watch it. We have an amazing time. It it's something that's pretty cool. And I think that it's overlooked a lot of times by the fact that, oh, games are pointless. You could be doing something better with your time. And even though that's somewhat true, and I would argue, yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to completely neglect your your life outside of games in order to be able to just play games. Video games are a special thing because they allow people to connect who wouldn't otherwise. I have friends that I just met in a pregame lobby. I have 6 or 7 of them that they were already a friend group. A lot of them also just met in a pregame lobby. A lot of them haven't met in real life, and I played a game with them. I thought they were cool. I added them. I have their Snapchats now, their Instagrams. We'll talk about life problems. We have a real concrete friendship strictly through games and the internet. And games provide a real avenue for that. Just seeing some other person's posts on an Instagram or their story on Snapchat, or they send you streaks. That's not something that can maintain a real friendship. But playing games together, you're able to form memories with that person. You're able to, get to know them better. There's a lot more small talk, small conversation. It's a very casual atmosphere, and so it allows you to be able to make friends with that person, and it's a real kind of friendship, and that's amazing to me. And I've said "and" like 14 times, but I think that the most important thing about this is a lot of the people who write off games have never experienced this. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and experience this. I'm not saying, I mean, I understand that. If you haven't, then I could see where you're coming from. And I'm not saying, okay, you need to go out and buy a PC and you need to make some friends online and see what I mean. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't yuck another person's yum.